This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN.Network. And joining me right now is Ashish Malik. He is the president and CEO of BEVVF Technologies. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you: BEE on the CSE and BEVVF on the OTCQB. And BEVVF will be presenting at our upcoming virtual event, the SNN.Network Canada virtual event, happening December 7th through 9, 2021. For more information to see that presentation, please go to Canada.SNN.Network. And with that, Ashish, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Great to be here, Robert. Thanks.
It's great to have you on. Look, it's been quite a few years now since the last time we had you on the program. I figured we're not going to go through the full update because that's quite a bit. So let's start us off with, for those who may have missed that interview or haven't seen you present before, can you give us a quick overview and history of BEVVF?
Sure. So we're in the agricultural industry, and specifically, we're working on a solution that's geared towards sustainable agriculture. What we've developed is a system that actually increases productivity of every acre of farmed land. So it's, more productive crops for farmers, more yield per acre of land. But at the same time, while we're increasing productivity, we are also significantly reducing the environmental footprint of that farming operation. So through the reduction of water, of the use of water, through the reduction of use of chemicals, also the elimination of fossil fuels for spraying. So those are some of the benefits for the environment that our technology brings.
Very good. So what would you say makes BEVVF unique and different compared to some of your peers out there that are looking to accomplish some of the same goals?
Yeah, I mean, so we have a very unique system, right? So we have the only system which uses the natural pollination process of bees to deliver biological products to plants that help these crops fight different diseases and grow healthier. So, there's other companies that are maybe looking at, biological products for delivery to crops through traditional methods, through spray equipment and heavy machinery. But BVT is the only company that's also changing that paradigm and saying there's got to be a better way to deliver these products to crops also. And that's where the harnessing the natural pollination process of bees comes in. So it's 100% natural system, natural products being delivered in a natural way. And that's what sets us apart. We call it natural precision agriculture.
Very good. And what's your background? I mean, how'd you come into all this?
Yeah, the interesting thing, Robert, is I'm actually an engineer by background, and through a series of career moves over the years, I landed in agricultural space. Food and agri has always been a passion of mine. I've lived on different continents around the world that have seen what impact, affordable versus expensive food can have on different cultural societies. And so, to me, one of the things that we have to figure out as a society is how can we make sure that generations to come have safe and affordable food for their well-being moving forward. So that's what brought me into agriculture, and specifically sustainable agriculture, about 20 years ago. I've loved it ever since.
I was so waiting for you to say, "Oh yeah, no, I'm a beekeeper as a hobby." It's never too late.
It's never too late. You're exactly right. The cool thing there is that there's just this tremendous need to find ways to bring new tools to farmers so that they can grow their crops better, more productively, increase yields. And bees are obviously part of that solution, right? So what we're developing and how we can use them not only for pollination, but in our case, to deliver products to crops as well, is just makes the bees that much more important for us.
So what's the current market penetration? I mean, I think back when we first did the interview, I think you're well past prototype stage, but I think it might have been pre-rev. So I mean, where are we currently at right now?
We were pre-rev back then. So what we've done in the last 2 years is completed the regulatory approval process for our technology, for the biological that we have, with the US Environmental Protection Agency, with the EPA, and that gave us license to operate. So we've been commercial and in revenue for 2 years. We're getting ready to get into our third season now, and things are going really well. We're selling in about 8 markets actually across the US. And when I talk about a market, I'm talking about a geography, and a crop. So, blueberries in Georgia is one market, but blueberries in the Pacific Northwest is a different market because the soil types are different, the climate is different, the varieties that they grow are different. So we're in 8 markets today across the US and on our way to get to 12 to 15 as we increase penetration. But then outside of the US, we've also started our market expansion projects. So we've taken what we've learned in the US and we're replicating it in other regions around the world. And then we're also expanding our product portfolio through accessing products from third parties, but also developing our biological product for additional markets as well. So we're focusing on commercializing in the US while expanding geographically and expanding our product portfolio. These are all things that are new, that have been, milestones that we've delivered on over the last couple of years since we last spoke.
So one other question on that note, when you're talking about working with your current customer base and looking at prospecting new markets, I mean, are these all, I would assume, have to be customized solutions for each market? Because I mean, even just within the same crop, you got blueberries in Georgia, blueberries in Washington, it's all different soils in there. Yeah, not to mention now you got strawberry, if you go into another crop. So how does that work?
Yeah, so it is the same product, it is the same system that we're using, but we have to prove it, right? So,
I see.
So the difference is that we have to prove. So just like you might do we're familiar with clinical studies. In the COVID world, you hear about all these vaccine manufacturers doing clinical studies for their new vaccines. It's the same idea here, right? We are doing field studies, and in our case, we have to prove the field studies to work in the Georgia climatic scenario, as well as in the Pacific Northwest. So the way we do that is we do our own contract research work through independent labs, but we will also work with the universities, the land grants universities across the US, who will independently validate that the system works within those climatic areas and with those varieties. So that's all part of what we talk about when we say development. We're developing our system for these different markets. And there's times that we'll do the work and we find it doesn't work, and we scrap that market and move on to the next one. Luckily so far we haven't come across that, but at some point that may happen, right? So we have to be prepared.
Absolutely. So, okay. So you already alluded to my last question for you today, but maybe we can get the full picture here. I mean, from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now going into 2022?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously increasing, our penetration in the US market is one, right? More revenue and more markets. And the interesting thing there, Robert, is we don't measure success just by the absolute revenue number. What we look at is more a quality, how many different markets did that revenue come from? We don't have a 200-person sales organization, but if we can show bigger companies that we might want to partner with in the future, that even with our 3-person sales organization, we've got all these different revenue streams from these different markets, that makes us also a better candidate to find a business partner to use a much bigger established marketing and sales network. So quality of sales is extremely important, customer retention, things like that. So that's one value catalyst. And then the other one is, or the other ones are geographic expansion and partnerships. So, we're planning to submit in the European Union for regulatory approval in the next 6 to 10 months. That's a huge driver because Europe is a very strategic market. And similarly, Mexico, Canada, Latin America, all these markets where we've started development work also can increase, the revenue opportunity for us. And then portfolio expansion. So we announced a partnership, our first commercial partnership about a month ago, where we're in-licensing a third-party product. So we bring that product into our portfolio and develop it for now insect control through delivery using bees. So we've got a fungal control product with our own microbial product, but we can also now stack that together with an insect solution, so we can double the value proposition of our system for the growers. So portfolio expansion is the other value catalyst for us.
So Ashish, with that, where can our audience go and find more information on bee vectoring?
So, obviously, I look forward to giving a more detailed presentation at the conference here next week. But, for sure, our website, www.beevvt.com, And you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the social sites as well.
All right. Well, Ashish, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Good luck, stay safe, and I look forward to our next update.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.